you guys stand up just for a minute, stretch out, because I know it can be a little uncomfortable sitting in the same spot for a second. Just stretch out, just move around, whatever you need to do. Just take a minute. Then when you're ready, whenever you're ready, you can sit back down. Just a few more minutes here. Everything. All right, I'm going to say thank you in advance for your guys' time and attention. Just a few minutes today, okay? Show of hands. Who agrees with this statement? To practice, not yet, almost. To practice is to declare that I can do better. So when you show up to practice, you're telling yourself that I can do better. Agree? Agree? So Billy and I are helping you practice on the mental side of things. I know you guys know Billy a little bit better. I've known Billy for over 15 years now through baseball. Since 2013, I've been helping athletes with baseball, and more recently on the mental side of performance. So, who knows Lori Hernandez? Some of you? Olympic gold medalist, gymnast, winner of Dancing with the Stars. I think she was on Ninja Warrior, for those of you that haven't seen Ninja Warrior. So, she's written at least 2 books. She's written a children's book, she's written a book for adults as well, and it's about gymnastics. The children's book is a little girl named Zoe. Zoe sees on TV gymnastics for the first time ever. Maybe some of you have had a similar experience. You see someone in maybe an arena like this or on TV doing gymnastics. She tells her parents, hey, I want to do gymnastics. So they get her the leotard, they sign her up, and her first practice, she gets on the balance beam and she falls. She hurts her leg, she hurts her hip, and more so she gets discouraged. And she gets scared of going back to practice and going back to the balance beam. And then her brother tries to say, oh, you know, it's okay. Her sister tries to say, oh, it's okay. Her dad says, you know, hey, you gotta get back out there. And then her mother comes in and says, hey, we're going for ice cream. And Zoe says, what do you mean we're going for ice cream? I'm feeling bad about myself, I messed up. She says, we're gonna celebrate you messing up. It's your first time messing up. I don't think we celebrate when we fail because obviously we feel bad about it. But when we mess something up, it's an opportunity to learn from it. But something happens when we mess up. We get this fear that creeps in as an athlete. And in the story, Zoe was scared of getting back on the balance beam. And the more I see gymnastics, I'm not a coach, gymnast myself, but the more I study it, the more I realize that you guys do something that's completely unique, completely different than any other sport. Your courage to be on a balance beam, to fly in the air, to do flips, is unlike any other sport. It really is. But the fear isn't just about falling physically. Would you guys agree that there comes fear of what's my teammate going to think? What's my coach going to say? What are my parents going to say? The fear of, I put all of this time in practice, I sure hope I do it in competition. There's the fear of, what are the judges going to score me, right? So there's more fears than just the physical side. But something we have to realize is that fear, here's a perfect story that tells you what fear is. So there's a story of a little girl. She's riding her bike, she's riding home, she's riding in her neighborhood. She's riding home and the sun's going down, so it's getting a little dim. Can you guys imagine that? Can you guys envision that? She's riding her bike home. She's going on her normal path home. And she sees up in the distance, she sees something on the road. It's a little dark, it's a little shadowy, and it seems to be coiled up, like a snake. Anyone scared of snakes? So she sees this shadowy thing wrapped up on the road. It looks like a snake. So she stops 50 yards away from it, puts on her brakes, and she goes the long way home. Then the next day, when the sun comes out, she rides her bike. She goes near the shadowy figure, still there. She says, oh, it's just a road. It wasn't a snake, it was a rope this entire time. So when we get fearful, when we get scared of things, what we do is we create scenarios, we create images in our mind of things that haven't even happened. Of something that somebody said that hasn't even happened yet. You guys follow me? So I want to give you guys one quick little exercise that try to combat the negative feelings that come with being fearful. Scared of teammates, scared of coaches, scared of whatever. Okay? So just like Billy had to do, I'm just going to walk you through an exercise. You can do this anytime. But this, what we're guiding you through when you have to shut your eyes and breathe and imagine things, it's just like you out here training physically. This is you training on the mental side of things. The difficult thing with the mental side is it's not easy to see. We can see physically how big, how fast, how strong, how quick, how accurately we do our flips, how accurately we execute as a gymnast. It's more difficult on the mental side because we can't actually see it. We can't actually touch it. So I'm going to ask you guys just to play full out with me for the next 60 seconds, okay? I'm going to walk you through an exercise, okay? So go ahead, shut your eyes, close your eyes. Just take a deep breath in, deep breath out, just relax. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Now think of somebody, a coach, a parent, a teammate, that you might be worried of upsetting. And maybe they annoy you, maybe they irritate you. Maybe you're scared of disappointing them. And once you have that person in mind, I want you to imagine that person shrinking down. They're shrinking, they're shrinking, they're shrinking, they're shrinking, until they can fit in the palm of your hand. So they're just a tiny little figure now. They're a tiny little person. Now imagine them talking to you in a funny voice. Maybe a high-pitched voice. Whatever they were going to say to you that you think was going to annoy you, have them say it in a high-pitched voice. It makes you laugh, it makes you smile. Now imagine that person with a clown nose on their face. Now imagine that face of that person on the body of someone like Addison Rae and they're doing a funny dance on TikTok. Now open your eyes. So that person that annoyed you, that person that you were scared of, now all of a sudden you're laughing at. So when we start to train our mind this way, we start to teach ourselves how to eliminate those bad feelings from a person, or from an event, or from a situation. We can go from someone annoying you to someone laughing, someone that you're scared of to literally cracking up in a short period of time, right? That was about a 60-second exercise. So, the more you do exercises like that with your mind, with your breath, with imagining someone tiny, you change your relationship with it. And that's training your mind just like you train your body out here. So I appreciate you guys' attention. Appreciate you guys letting us come in. And I really appreciate you guys letting us stay in the area. Really nice. So thank you.
I'll ask questions to get the girls thinking. So, when you're visualizing and doing everything that you need to do, and you talk about fear, what are some of those things that you can do or that you would suggest for athletes to combat that fear? You know, they have a bad practice, maybe they fell, maybe they hurt themselves, but they have to be back in the gym tomorrow. What are some things that they can say to themselves or some things that they can do to kind of clean that slate to come in with the good attitude of the coffee bean and say, okay, today's a new day, let's get to this.
Yeah, for simplicity, there's three parts of it. There's what you see in your mind, right? So you have the visual side of it. There's the words that you're saying to yourself, the voices in your mind, right? We all have inner conversations all the time. And then there's the physical side. The quickest way to combat a bad feeling, you know, you just had a bad competition, you're a little upset, you know, you may have messed something up, is literally change the way you carry your body. It's impossible, and I know you guys are young, but they did studies at Harvard on what's called power posing, but it's just, for simplicity's sake, it's this. If you put yourself in a confident position, shoulders back, chin up, standing confidently, for 90 seconds or more, there's literally changes within your body, biochemical changes to get you out of that fear, to get you out of that negative emotion. So just by putting yourself in a different position, all of a sudden you start changing that negative association to that poor performance, that poor practice. And the other two parts of it, the visual, right? Instead of replaying what you messed up, you have to change that to replaying what you want to do right. And instead of saying to yourself, man, I stink, man, I messed up, man, I hope this doesn't go wrong again, you're gonna change it to what you want to do instead of what you don't.